Big news, though, in Madrid surrounds Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course, he wasn't in action. None of the BBC were. Zinedine Zidane on the cover of AS saying, I can't imagine Real Madrid without him. Well, maybe their fans can, because they did a big poll of Real Madrid fans. 125,000 of them were asked about Ronaldo. Nearly two-thirds said they want to see Cristiano Ronaldo leave the Estadio Bernabeu. Quite astonishing. Gab Marcotti is with us. Gab, what do you make of those poll results, and will it have any impact on what happens next for Ronaldo?
I mean, look, these aren't scientific polls and whatnot, but I still think that, they have some value. I think it shows that the opinion has shifted, the mood has shifted a little bit. The last time around there was talk of Cristiano leaving. We know how it ended. It ended with a new contract. I think this time around it's a little bit different. Real Madrid are legitimately hamstrung. There's only so much that they can do, not because they lack money, but because they have a manager who believes in playing as veterans. They don't have that many alternatives off the bench, and these guys are locked into big contracts. And I think the thinking is, let's dangle this a little bit. I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo's averse to being dangled either, incidentally, and let's see what happens. Personally, I look at his wages, and I simply don't see any club that Ronaldo might want to go to being prepared to go and make that sort of financial commitment.
Ronaldo likes to be wanted. He likes to be loved.
We all do.
Well, he's not going to last long there,
He's only human, but him particularly. Is this going to have... I mean, can you see him staying at a club where the fans don't want him?
I think the winds will shift yet again. I mean... 12 months ago they were whistling him, and then all of a sudden he went on this run in the Champions League, and you get to see the true value of Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, as well as that may be, I just feel that Ronaldo has become synonymous with Real Madrid over the years. And whether he's putting in those performances or not, I think just in terms of his personality, in terms of his marketability, in terms of his brand, it goes hand in hand with Real Madrid. And I know Manchester United will, and their fans will feel otherwise, but it makes sense for him to stay. It doesn't make sense for him to get another contract on top of this, but it makes sense for him, for me, to stay.
He's got a contract till 2021, but he's very nearly 33, Stevie. Is it time?
Yes.
Sense the wind changing direction?
Yeah, listen, I get what Shaq is saying, but at the end of the day, clubs that have a player who is synonymous with them, clubs have had that for years and years and years, and guess what? When they move on, it's like, well, it's time to move on. And it's time this guy moved on. I don't see him being able to produce what he did this time last year in order to win the Ballon d'Or and win the Champions League for Real Madrid. And so a guy with the personality that he has, if he's not playing, he will be an absolute nightmare around the club. And the way he's playing, he's lucky that they don't have anybody else. Either Bale's not fit, or there's nobody else that can step in and fight for a position. So at the moment, they're stuck with him. Do they need to get rid of him? I think they do, but as Gab said, who's going to pay his wages?
Stevie, I think to a certain degree, when you hear the quotes that have been attributed to Cristiano saying that he thinks somebody should come in and I want to move to United, I want to do this, I want to do that, it is disruptive. Yes, he has been a fantastic player. I do think he's on the downside, but no matter who you are in that dressing room, you still got to have the togetherness to be successful. And I just don't think that they're together. I think you can see that with the way that they're playing, and I think he's spilling over to everybody.
Gab, you mentioned the dangling from Real Madrid. Where is the interest? Is it genuinely Manchester United and PSG only?
I don't even know that there is genuine interest, certainly from Manchester United. I mean, obviously they'll be willing to talk, but if they're about to invest a lot of money in Alexis Sanchez, they have invested a ton of money in Lukaku. Paul Pogba's there. It's not so much that they can't afford it, but it's a question of going and balancing the egos, balancing the playing time. The other thing about Cristiano, though, that said, with all the negativity, and yeah, he hasn't played well, He's Real Madrid's top scorer this season. He has 16 goals, twice as many as the next highest top goal scorer. So I think there's also a bit of a risk of turning into some kind of scapegoat for all of Real Madrid's ills. It's not a bad return at this stage of the season, and I think there's also a school of thought that says if Cristiano can readjust to playing his game a little bit differently, maybe a little bit centrally, the skills he has, he's big, he's strong, he's still a tremendous finisher, although he takes a lot of bad shots, and he's devastating in the air. You can have yourself somebody that can probably extend his career, maybe not to 36 at this level, but probably not far off it.